Hi there, this video is looking at the Med Reviews folder of our prescribing reports. This folder is very much patients where you're working off directly the reports or perhaps for tasks to be sent to prescribers to review these. In the changes that we've made recently, we've tried to simplify considerably the way these are broken down. So the notes-based Med Reviews are in three categories now. There's patients who haven't completed any kind of questionnaire. And there's various reasons that might be there. So it might be that we can't text them, and your practice hasn't been sending them out the kind of postal versions. It might be that the only medication they're on has actually already been reviewed. So let's say a patient who's on an inhaler and nothing else, and recently had an asthma review. In that scenario, the system wouldn't send them another questionnaire. Then there's no response to multiple invites to a med review appointment. So one of the things we found and one of the changes we've made is that a lot of patients have completed questionnaires and said, yes, I'd like to speak to someone. They've been sent invites and then they haven't responded. Or maybe you as a practice has said something like, I don't know, this is a patient who is on polypharmacy, therefore we want to send them to have a structured med review, but they don't engage. So this report flags these patients up. Where if you're reviewing them using our prescribing overview template, it may well be that you're able to do a notes-based med review. But the other possibility here is that you do want to have an appointment and it's essential. And you put some notes in here about, discuss questionnaire or whatever it might be. The essential appointment box is basically saying this patient really does need this appointment. And if they don't engage, if they don't have this med review, then you want staff and the system to direct staff to reduce access to their medication until they've attended. So in that scenario, it wouldn't kind of loop back round into this report, but it would look at reducing access to those medications. The third category, like before, really is where the kind of general med review questionnaire has been complete. If you want to just group them all together, this top report does that. And again, it gives you some codes that can be used to remove patients from this report. We've now added in a new breakdown, which is splitting these all into complex and simple. Complex is broadly following things like, say, more than 4 meds on repeat, opioids, or sort of frail patients, the kind of patients where there's likely to be more complexity or where our system has identified some kind of warning or alert. One of the other things we've developed that we'll do another video for is that when you are doing med reviews, we've tried to integrate the system much more. So you might be doing a med review on one patient, but actually the system might pick up that they said, please stop my HRT, or that their bisphosphonates need reviewing because their creatinine clearance has dropped. Those things will all kind of come together a bit more now. So the idea is it doesn't matter too much what's led you into that patient record. The system works in that integrated way. But that is also factored into these complex reviews. So it may be that in some practices you want those to go to a pharmacist or GP, and it might be that the more simple ones might be more appropriate for other staff members, and you can split them accordingly. So simple is basically not complex. Pick and choose, basically. You either can use complex and simple or just the all, but it's there if you want to use it. The patients to call section, this will only be populated if you've told us that you are not inviting patients in to book appointments, but you're working off lists to call them. So the idea is that this would be your kind of list, and that report includes all of them. And then if you want to focus on particular areas, you've got options here. So much simpler, far fewer options. Either you probably work straight off the reports or you task to people to review them. All the reports you need for these med reviews then are here in this folder. Thanks.